And so the escape from LA saga continues from the Rays' perspective as we move our attentions from Orange County to the comforts of Chavez Ravine. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rays Roundup with Roman Rodriguez. And one Rodriguez is good, but two Rodriguez is better. I brought my friend from Baseball Renegades, a wonderful meme page on Facebook. If you have a minute, check that out. We're outstanding. A lot of fun over there. But the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Jerry Rodriguez. Jerry, thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to the Rays Roundup.
Thank you for having me. Really quickly, I have to say, please don't call it Chavez Ravine.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like I technically I don't care really, but a lot of Dodger fans will give you grief about that. So
Okay.
Chavez Ravine is what the Angels owner used to call it because it's called Dodger Stadium, and he did not
Oh,
want to use that when he would talk about when the Angels were using the stadium. So he would call it Chavez Ravine. But it became colloquial in the area, and so a lot of people, like I, even call it Chavez Ravine from time to time too. Because, like I said, I personally I don't really care, but a lot of Dodger fans, I hear it all the time on a lot of the Dodger pages. They get real hot about it because they tend to be older, but
okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. And I understand the controversies, how it came about, and I'm completely
yeah.
respectful to that. So 100%. So let's start it over. No,
Nah.
so in the comforts of Dodger Stadium.
Oh
So
yeah,
thank you very much for the
oh
correction. I
yeah.
do appreciate that. But as you out there in listening land have figured out, he is Mr. Dodger himself, Jerry Rodriguez. Jerry, thank you very much for joining us. But before we get into that, if you're watching this, please hit that like and subscribe button. We greatly do appreciate it. If you like the content here at Baseball Banter Broadcast, feel free to hit that button. We would greatly appreciate it. It helps us get more confidence and get more things going and make things even better. So thank you very much. But Jerry, you are my resident Dodger aficionado, super fan, a super awesome guy, great content on the meme page. So, as of right now, your perspective, 2026 LA Dodgers. What's going on? Where's the team in your perspective?
I like where the team is at right now. Um, I struggle though because from a positive standpoint, I would look at the team just like a lot of the bitter fans look at from other teams. Look at the team where they're just so stacked, and it puts a lot of like. It's not like a guarantee, but at the same time, certain teams when you go in there, the chances are that the Dodgers are going to walk out at least two of the three. And so like even as a fan, sometimes it can not that it's boring, but it's like it's almost like when you know what's going to happen, you're not as invested sometimes. But I think that sometimes that even carries over into the team. I think that the Dodgers, if you've looked at them over the last few years, they tend to kind of have lulls in the season. And it's almost like they just, as a team, like almost lose focus. And fortunately, right now, they seem to be really, really kind of have their pedal to the metal. This Chicago series kind of seemed to be a little bit of a hiccup, but coming out of the Philly series, and I don't feel like it's as bad as maybe some people might think.
Okay, excellent. And we'll definitely go ahead and jump into where the Dodgers are and a couple of bits of stats for Rays fans to get to know the opponent, if you will. So as we stand right now, the Dodgers coming into today have been 5-5 over the last 10. Of course, they are currently in first place in the NL West. They have a 45-27 record. Of course, and they have a run differential of a plus 141. So you've been winning by a lot and beating your opponent, and you are darn near 20 games over 500. So far, so good for the Dodgers, those wearing Dodgers blue, of course, naturally. Now, when we take a little bit under the hood, get to know the Dodgers a little bit better, as we stand right now, coming into today, the Dodgers ranked first in batting average amongst all major league teams at a 263 average. They rank first amongst all major league teams with runs, with 382 runs. Their ERA is 3.32. That ranks third amongst all major league teams. And their whip, that is walks, hits over innings pitch, that is an outstanding 1.09. So I've been doing this little breakdown for all teams when we face them. So this is the most intimidating one off the surface, just because it's first place.
Yeah.
So great job on there. When we take a look at their bullpen, so when we take a look at your bullpen over the last week, coming into today, not so bueno. Estás no bueno. It's not as good. You guys are at a 6.08 ERA over the last 10 games, or 7 days, excuse me. That's your bullpen has only pitched 13.1 innings. Of course, that was really helped out by the near perfect game there in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
So I'm certain that Tristan Peters is probably not getting free drinks in LA anytime soon. Just saying.
No.
No, probably not. And another interesting thing about the Dodgers, when you're talking about where are their flaws and things like that, their defensive run save metrics, DRS, you guys are number one in all major league teams with your DRS per the Fielding Bible. So you guys field well, you guys hit well, you guys pitch well. So all in all, it's going to be a serious week for the Rays, I'm certain. Of course, definitely. If we get anything good, it's going to be earned 100%. The Rays are limping, losing 2 or 3 from the Angels over there in the OC in Anaheim. But they are, just give you some numbers in terms of where the Rays are currently at going into today. Of all major league teams, they are third with batting average with 256 batting average. The runs, they're at 300 runs, so that's 18th out of all 30 teams. Their ERA, they are ranked 12th out of all major league teams, 3.97 ERA, and their WHIP, they are currently 8th amongst all major league teams at 1.24. Is where we stand. Our bullpen, just to give you a heads up on that, our bullpen has been slightly better than yours over the last 7 days, but not by much. The bullpen ERA is currently at 5.85 where we stand, and they've thrown 20 innings. So over the last 7 days. So that's where we stand there. So that ranks them amongst all major league ball teams per InsideThePen.com, a great website if you have a chance to check that out. They currently rank at 15. So just for a heads up on that. So that's where we stand there. And just to finish it out for the DSR, defensive run save, the DRS, excuse me, the Rays are at 6, so not too far off. So it's not exactly like we're dealing with a lot of bottom feeders. It could be a very interesting series. Definitely, if I was a betting man, definitely the Dodgers have a lot of reasons why you guys should feel absolutely confident going into this series. So when we talk about the Tampa Bay Rays from a Los Angeles Dodgers perspective, who are the Tampa Bay Rays to you currently?
I think the Tampa Bay Rays right now, I see them as one of the tougher teams in the AL. I have a hard time though, because like I think a lot about October just in general. And so I see Tampa Bay as a team that'll be there in October, but because they are pitching heavy and sometimes that fluctuates and the bats aren't always consistent, I don't know how confident to go all the way in, deep into October. But I think that right now they're looking good. I think they're holding pretty good pace with New York, who seems to pretty much be the juggernaut in the AL right now. I mean, but I think that it's going to be a really great series. I think the pitching is going to be really great. And I think that the really big question mark is going to end up being the catching and how that affects our pitchers, with Smith being down right now. And rushing, I like his offense, but he's kind of a hothead, and he's kind of a rookie at times, and it's It makes me nervous.
Well, that'll happen. Let's go into your injuries right now. Just kind of give me an overview over where you're at. You have some notable injuries, guys who are on the 60-day injury list, like Evan Phillips, Gavin Stone, guys like that. You have Bobby Miller, Landon Knack, which I don't think he's on the major league roster. Tommy Edman, he's on 60-day. I keep on going. Gratterall, your relief pitch, Brusar Gratterall.
Yeah.
He's currently on your 60. Of course, Jake Cousins on your 60. I'm still going. Ben Kasparis is on your 60. Edwin Diaz is on your 60. Some guy that race fans may not know of, his name's Tyler Glasnow. He's on your 60, but that's no surprise. We're very familiar with that. Brock Stewart, but he's on your 15. Blake Snell, very familiar with that. So he and his tear ducts are on the 60-day DL. Of course, Enrique Kiki Hernandez is on the 10-day, and Teoscar Hernandez is on your 10-day, and then Will Smith on your 10-day, and that's mainly the gist of it, of course. So, of course, your starting pitching of Justin Wobleski. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. If not, I apologize. But so you guys are definitely banged up, to say the least. But this is what makes the Dodgers so amazing: is you're the Hydra, pretty much. You cut off one head and two more form, and you guys are still, as I pointed out early on, first in average, first in runs, first in ERA, third in ERA, first in WHIP.
And so, I think that's why, like, I get mad as a Dodger fan when people try to make us sound like we're just spend a lot of money and that's why we're so good. Like, I mean, yeah, the team spends a lot of money. However, they spend a lot of time and energy in developing their players so that you can have the next man up mentality. Like, you can't have that next man up mentality if you got a bunch of joker rookies coming up from your minor leagues that don't understand how to play the game.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things that a lot of the players talk about, the stars talk about, the way that the rookies come up ready to play the game when they're in the Dodger uniform, that they come up ready, and the team does a lot of really good work to make sure that they are when they get up to the clubhouse.
Absolutely. And that's something that is definitely underrated to a degree, and Rays fans out there will know a thing or two about being shorted by national media and the narrative, of course. Continually we are always picked for last pretty much every year, give or take. In my recollection, I think we were picked last all but like 3 years since 2008. So
I think like the Tampa Bay Rays are a perfect example of that. Like, don't judge the book by the cover kind of situation. Mm-hmm. Like they remind me of, like, that Friends, like, mom that would, like, put together these great meals, but it seemed like they had nothing. And so you're like, how the hell did you end up with this, like, amazing food? And there wasn't really much that you put into it. And it seems like the Rays know really well how to put ingredients together. And so it's not flashy. It doesn't, when you open the fridge, it doesn't look like you got much in there. But if you know how to cook right, you can grab all the right ingredients. And it seems like you guys have a good development system that puts like the Dodgers, you guys keep the next guy coming up, and you know how to do a lot with a little.
Yeah, and the difference in the markets where you have a little bit less stress in Tampa Bay than you do in LA, just a little bit. Just to say the least. You only have 2 major, probably amongst the 5 counties, which make the Tampa Bay area, kind of like you guys have Los Angeles County. You have Long Beach and things like that. We have, St. Petersburg. We got other variations of our community, if you will, and that spans about 5 to 6 counties, depending on who you ask. But amongst those counties, you got about 6 newspapers, 5 or 6 newspapers, period. So you're not bombarded with a plethora of questions and things like that.
Yeah.
A player can play the game and then go home with his family and not answer 1,000 questions or not being bombarded here and there. So I think that has a little bit more of a stress-free environment, and that's typically why you might see a veteran come here and thrive, or maybe a person who had a down year, like Fernando Rodney, who was given a decent contract from the Angels, didn't pan out, and he came to the Rays, and he did well. Why? Because he was able to have a fun environment that people were just able to allow him to pitch. So
Yeah.
things like that, and you've seen it time and time again with other guys who've gone from bigger markets to here and typically put it together. That's not always a guarantee. There's always exceptions to every rule, but typically that's what you can find from time to time. But so with that being said, let's go ahead and jump to the matchups and talk about what to expect over this 3-game set. So we're going to be playing at the time of recording. It's Sunday, so come Monday, we're going to have Nick Martinez for the Rays versus Eric Lauer for your Dodgers. So for the Tampa Bay Rays fans out there who are watching this, can you tell us a little bit about Mr. Lauer? I see he's a lefty. Can you tell us a little bit more?
So, I can't tell you a whole lot about Lauer because I think this is going to be it's either his third or fourth start in a Dodger uniform now. So we just barely picked him up not too long ago. But he's been nice for us since. So it seems like the change of scenery seems to have been really good for him. But that's what, like I said too, I'm kind of a little nervous because now he's going to be throwing to, I don't know if he's going to be throwing to Rushing or if he's going to be throwing to Robinson. But either way, it's a change in that catching environment. So I'm not sure how that's going to affect him. Other than that, I mean, he seems to pitch exactly like the Dodgers like. He gets his Ks when he needs to, but it's a lot of the Dodgers like to pitch to contact. Dodgers are a pitch to contact team. That's what from the coaches to the announcers. It's pitch to contact. It's that old Maddox philosophy. The first 2 pitches are the team's. After that, it's mine.
Absolutely.
And it seems to pretty much that's where the Dodgers, like, you see the defensive run save because you got good gloves behind him and you can pitch to that contact and that no matter where it goes, it's probably going to be a glove somewhere and the ball in Freddie's at the end of the play.
Absolutely. And a couple underlying numbers for Mr. Lauer. When we take a peek at a few things, so he is a lefty, so you'll be facing a lot of our right-handed hitters during that time period. So you'll see pretty much our de facto lefty killer, Ryan Valade, who has been hitting over 300. He's going to be shown. You'll also see Nick Fuentes, who has been better as of late. He's going to get a shot. He's our righty catcher. We also have Hunter Fiducia, who Dodgers fans will be familiar with, of course.
That is.
He's our lefty in the bullpen, or he's our lefty catcher, of course. So that's where we stand on that. So with Eric Lauer, when we take a look at this, he does have some interesting things. So he does have a 2.76 ERA, but his FIP, which is fielding independent pitching, his FIP is a bit higher, over 5 FIP. So in other words, he's been a bit lucky. But with a team that has the best defensive run save metrics, that's not really a surprise, of course. Just saying on that one. So that's going to be something that could be very interesting moving forward. So Eric Lauer, now he's going to be opposed, as I touched on previously, he's going to be opposed by Mr. Nick Martinez. Nick Martinez, who's having a renaissance year. He currently has a 2.43 ERA moving into tomorrow's matchup. He has been dinged up a little bit. The last couple games, he's been hit a little bit, giving up more than 2 runs, which that was basically his MO for the first 2 months. So June and the late May has not been very good to Mr. Martinez. It's not been bad. It's just he's normal. He's hittable, if you will. He's mortal, if you will. So, but Nick Martinez has been a breath of fresh air. Now, his ERA we touched on is 2.43. His FIP, just to play fair is fair, is at 3.56. So that's a little bit of luck as well. But again, with the sixth best defensive run save metrics, not completely surprised there. But so it should be definitely a good matchup. Definitely not overly frightening from the Rays perspective, where it's like, oh man, this is going to be tough. I don't know if we can get a game. Oh boy, things like that. So it definitely is going to be something interesting. Moving into game 2. So this is going to be the Rays will have Drew Rasmussen versus Justin Robleski. I will eventually get it right, I promise.
This big Robo? They call him Robo. Yeah, so it's just Robleski.
Okay.
That W screws it up, but if you just ignore it, it's a little easier.
You know what? That's muchas gracias. I appreciate that. Thank you very much, my friend.
Yeah.
So Mr. Robleski is sporting a 2.95 ERA. He is a lefty again. So what can Rays fans know about Mr. Robleski, Mr. Robo?
I'm trying to think about where. So he's just pretty much building on what he did last season. He pitches to, like I said, he's a Dodger. He pitches contact, keeps the ball low, works in and out, keeps his fastball going. He misses bats like he needs to. He had a tough outing. I want to say like 2 or 3 starts ago. But I was really happy to see he bounced back really nice from it and came back, and he didn't make 2 or 3 of them, which has been a nice thing. And I think that it's been nice to see him be able to keep up with the big dogs. You know what I mean? Where everybody's talking about Yamo, but you have to talk about him afterwards, because it's like, oh yeah, no, he's right there too. And he's Emmett Sheehan was kind of that guy last season, and the Dodgers seem to every season kind of find this rookie that kind of tends to do it. And I think that Robleski has actually been able to take some of the stress off of Roki as they're getting him kind of right, because you don't have 3 bad rookies back to back to back.
Yeah.
You got somebody that can put up some good numbers too.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, a couple more numbers throughout for Mr. Robo. His FIP is 3.68 FIP, fielding independent pitching. So with his ERA being 2.95, slightly lucky, but not too bad. His WHIP is beautiful at a 1.050 WHIP. In my perspective, anything below 1.2 is great. So the closer you are to 1 is outstanding. Anything below 1,
yeah,
awesome. So he's definitely going to be an interesting one. Again, it looks like we're going to be facing all lefties with Mr. Robo and Mr. Otani, which we'll get to in a second. So we've basically been facing mostly lefties. Before we got to you guys, we were playing the Boston Red Sox in Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. And we faced all lefties. We almost faced primarily lefties for the Angels this time around. And so we're facing a lot of lefties. And that's fine because that's going to give our right-handed hitters an opportunity. And you may get a chance to see Johnny DeLuca come back because he's on a rehab assignment. So there's a chance that we could get him back. And we've sorely missed him. He was a linchpin in many ways. So Dodgers fans may be familiar with him very much. So he's part of that Tyler Glasnow trade. So
you guys have very many because I know that you guys are very platoon happy. Are you guys so you just said you guys have been pretty much what it seems like almost 9 of your or 7 of 9 are going to be lefties. Do you have guys that you can move and say screw the now I can't think of that word, but the righty lefty concern?
Yeah.
I don't know why I can't.
You're fine, man. You're fine.
No, it bothers me when I can't think of a word though.
It happens all the time to me, my friend. I call it the Porky Pig effect, and
Yes.
I become very vague. It's like the guy who does that thing. Yeah, so
Um,
that guy. Yeah. But no. So short
platoon.
answer is for our platoons, we do have a righty lefty. So if you have a righty on the mound, you'll see pretty much for the Rays. There's a couple star works that you're going to see no matter if it's a righty or lefty, and specifically speaking, that's going to be our first baseman, which is Jonathan Aranda, who is completely underrated, very good hitter in his own right, left-hander, of course. So he hits righties or lefties. He's going to be in that lineup. He's our first baseman. Also, Cedric Mullins, our center fielder, for the most part. Even though he's a lefty, he's going to be in there no matter if you have a righty or lefty there, just because he's so valuable with his glove, and he's been coming more to form as of late for the Rays. So there has been some positive reviews on his performance, both offensively and defensively. And also Chandler Simpson, who started off like an absolute spark plug. In my opinion, I think he's injured. He just looks a little bit slow, but he's lefty with good contact. And he's also a defensive run save darling in left field for the Rays. He's helped out a lot. So he's done a lot of positive things on his regard. So those are going to be the stalwarts for the lefties. But what you can expect right now, where we stand, so the righty-lefty split for the Rays for the Dodgers out there. Right field, you could, if it's a lefty on the mound, you'll see Ryan Vilade. He's mostly right-handed exclusive hitting, or left-handed exclusive hitting outfielder. He can also play first base. He can also play second base if you're in a pinch. So he has that split in that platoon. So you can expect that. The lefty for right field is Jose Mesa Jr., which he's our lefty out there. He's the fill-in for Jake Fraley, who's injured currently. And so he stepped up. We got him in a minor trade, but he's been doing some positive things. He hit a home run today for the Rays at the time of this recording. Also for second base, you have, if you have a lefty on the mound, you should see Ben Williamson as your second baseman. And if you have a righty on the mound, you should see Richie Palacios as the second baseman, who's a lefty. So that's who you can expect. I touched on previously with the catchers. If you have a lefty on the mound, you should see a big helping of Nick Fortes. Nick Fortes will be the catcher, whereas if you have a righty on the mound or later in innings and you have a righty reliever, expect Hunter Fiducia to be our lefty, of course. So that's how we platoon it, and that's who Dodgers fans should expect. Guys that won't change: Taylor Walls, because he's a switch hitter, and he's also a perennial Gold Glove winner every year at shortstop. His bat's not there, but his glove is 100% an all-star quality. And of course, Junior Cananero, a righty. So he hits if you have a righty or lefty, period. He's in the game. 22-year-old, continue to improve. Throw something inside to him at your own peril, period. Look for a lot of soft stuff on the outside. That's how people were trying to get him out. He's been adjusting a little bit more lately. DH, Yandy Diaz, righty. He's going to be in there, righty or lefty, and he's hitting over 330. And he has a 25 game on base streak, and that's continued. So that's what you can expect there. There's the lineup right there, my friend. But let's go ahead and go on to the last game of the matchup, and then we'll give predictions and X factors, and then I'll let you enjoy the rest of your day, my friend. But so when we talk about the last game, that's going to be 1 second, real quick. All right, that's going to be Mr. Shane McClanahan for the Rays facing some guy who I've never heard of, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is going to be the matchup there. That's going to be the final game, and that's going to be a getaway game for the Rays, as they will have the following day off. And same with your Dodgers, also having the following day off as well, as we fly back here and take on the Nationals, I believe. So it should be a lot of fun for us. So Shohei Ohtani has some underlying numbers for his pitching performance, which I always love when I look up Shohei because I gotta keep scrolling through my stats so that way I'm not looking at just the hitting, of course. So let's go ahead and focus him as a pitcher. Coming right up, here we are. One brief moment. I'm almost there. Thank you very much. And sometime while I'm here, here we go. Standard pitching. Finally found it. So good luck, boys. Right now, where we stand, his ERA is currently 1.06 ERA through 11 games started. A couple underlying numbers, and then I'll get your feedback real quick. So his FIP, fielding and pending pitching, is 2.68. His WHIP is brutal. Basically, his best pitching performance that he's pretty much done essentially ever. We're talking 0.842, which just means that he's amped to get smacked around naturally. Why not? So thoughts on Shohei? How's he doing in 2026? Yeah.
He's, I mean, obviously, as the numbers show, he's fucking amazing, and he's really, really on pace to go after that Cy Young that he wants. My only concern coming into this game is that he was pulled due to knee inflammation the other day, and so I'm just hoping that it seems to be better. He was back in, he's batting, but you know, we know with pitchers, if it's in your legs, it can affect a lot of the arm stuff too. So, you know, you could end up catching him on one because the knee's not where it should be. But if his knee and he's healthy, good luck. That's all I gotta say is good luck with that fastball and the curve. That combination he's got, that curveball is just devastating, and it's nice to have him on the Dodgers.
Okay, and that's good to see. Yeah, definitely. If roles are reversed, I would be very happy if he was a Rays player naturally, but he's not. So we have to get him where we can. So make him feel this position, make him feel uncomfortable out there. Maybe throw some bunts out there, make him feel this position, move his feet. Is what I say.
That actually might not be a bad idea. Yeah.
Every so often, I have some decent ideas. Yeah, go ahead.
Especially with Rushing and Robinson behind the plate, you know, you got two rookies that may not, you know, you push the likelihood of an error or something like that, forcing all three of them to run a little more.
Yeah, you can probably expect that with the Rays lineup. Cedric Mullins will probably lay down a bunt at some point. Absolutely, Chandler Simpson will at some point. Also, Taylor Walls will throw down a bunt at some point. And other guys who have been known to throw bunts every so often, like Ryan Valade, he'll throw down a bunt. Richie Palacios will throw down a bunt, but he probably will be nullified because he's a lefty. And Hunter Fiducia is actually okay at bunting as well, but again, you can expect definitely from the starting lineup for three of the guys to bunt almost every at bat if they need to. And they have shown propensity at times this year, especially when things are going good, to have back-to-back bunts. So you get a bunt hit and then a bunt hit, and then you get the runners going. If you're not checking the runners, they'll run on you. With Chandler Simpson being a little bit slow, maybe due to injury, is what I feel. He hasn't been a threat really on the base pass pretty much since May. He hasn't stolen a base since mid-May for the Rays. So that's something to think about on your Dodgers perspective. But that is the matchups there. So let's go ahead and go over predictions. How do you see the Dodgers playing the series from the Dodgers' perspective?
I'm assuming it's going to end up a 2-3 series, or I mean a 2-1. I don't think that the Dodgers can sweep the Rays, but I'm not sure if the Rays can leave LA with 2. Right now, with the way the Dodgers are playing, I think it's going to be really hard to take that from them. I'm not saying that the Rays don't have the talent to. I just the pitching lineup, if they're on and they keep pitching the way they have been, and the bats continue to play, I think it's going to be a real tough 3 games for the Rays.
Okay, no problem. So officially, I'm hearing 2 of 3 Dodgers. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we got a chance for 2 or 3 from the Rays perspective because I like the 3 guys that we have going up against you. I like Martinez. I like Rasmussen and McClanahan. I like Ish McClanahan is where we stand. So definitely, if things are going right for the Rays, runs will be at a premium for the Dodgers as well. So if we can play good ball, because we're not exactly slouchers ourselves based on our defensive run metrics, our defensive run saved metrics. So you have a lot of parallels between the 2 teams. So I think we got a shot for game 1 and game 2. Game 3 is tough on principle, but we have hit Ohtani before. So, but it's different Ohtani, different year, different season, things like that. Now, the Rays are, for the last going on almost on 4 weeks, have been stumbling. They have been stumbling, even when they were still winning at a good clip in mid-May. They were winning kind of in uglies, almost force gumping their way into 2 wins. So they have not been really right. Now, if they can get a guy back like Johnny DeLuca, that could go a long ways to really, because he is a spark plug with the bat, he's a spark plug with the glove, and he's also got fresh legs. So if we can get him back, that definitely is a little bit more of a confidence booster to get the Rays back to the baseball that they're playing in May, where they won 23 games and lost 6. So
which game are you expecting him back?
Right now he's on a rehab assignment, so if he does come in, so they could play 1 or 2 things, have him continue to play out in Durham, or they could bring him out tomorrow. They could bring him out. It wouldn't surprise me because if they have him ready for game 1, if not, then maybe game 2. I don't see him flying out for Ohtani just for 1 game, just to fly back. But who knows? Depending on how the series is, and if Cash feels that he's ready, and if DeLuca feels that he's ready, then I can see it. But that could be some guy that could be looming. That could be a very interesting piece or addition for the Rays lineup, and definitely he's added a lot of interesting matchup headaches for the opposing team. As it stands right now, Johnny DeLuca for the season has a 0.6 WAR for his value, and he's missed the last nearly 4 weeks. So take it what you will on that one. But so that's my take. I say 2 or 3. Now, if they are not playing good ball, if they're not playing good defense, because they are always on a razor's edge between getting beat and beating somebody, because if they're not getting that ground ball, that can create a headache. If they're not catching that fly ball, the innings can spiral very quickly. So for those, that can be a head scratcher to say the least at times from the Rays perspective. So I can see them, if everything is not going well, I can see them getting swept. I can also see if everything goes right, they could potentially sweep the Dodgers. Now, realistically, 2 or 3 is what I say. We're more confidence is showing 1 of 3. I like the first game. Second game, I 50-50. And with the Ohtani, I probably put it about a 70-30 Dodgers on that one. Is kind of where my mind's at, because he is coming off of a little bit of a sore knee, and the Rays have a chance to slap the ball around to really make people move. So I think that's an interesting perspective. And if you hang one, they can still hit the ball out. Not on a high clip, but they can capitalize on some mistakes. So that's kind of my take.
What are the start times for the games? Are they all 7:10?
Yeah. So you gotta remember I'm on West Coast.
So they're 10,
East Coast. Sorry. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. So let's go ahead and pull the times up for those. One brief moment. I was not taking the initiative on that one. So hold on 1 second. All right. So game one's going to be at 10:10 locally for us. So that's going to be 7:10 your time. Game two will be 10:10 for the East Coasters, but 7:10 your time. And then finally, game three will be at 3:10 East Coast time.
Okay.
So is that going to be 12:10? Is that
Yeah,
going to be a
that'll be
unit?
12:10. Yeah.
Okay.
So
All right.
that bodes well. The nighttime games really, the ball tends to fly out of the park sometimes at night a little bit better. So that's a little bit more chance for some better offense through the night.
Okay.
Something to, and I think that's one of the things like you're talking about, like with if certain things can go right for the Rays. I think that's one of the things that has made the Dodgers like I enjoy watching them is that it takes 2, 3, 4 real big mess ups for them to really lose the game. Like it seems like, like they're sick, you can be down 3 in the 6th or 7th and still have a really good shot at coming back. I mean, especially the way like everybody talks shit because they run Ohtani out first. They use him as a leadoff. And like, I know that takes away the RBIs, but when you have some good hitters on the back of your lineup that can get on base, you get those opportunities right back. And it's why, like, if you look at the way the Dodgers score, they score late in games a lot more than they score earlier in the games. They're 4th, 5th on, they tend to pick up, and that tends to be a lot of what that is. They create rallies from the back end of their lineup, which makes sense because if you have to pitch Ohtani, Freeman, Betts, Smith, Muncy, Hernandez, that's a lot. By the time you get to that back end, you're kind of tired as a pitcher, and those mistakes come a little bit quicker. It seems like for the back end.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and that's going to be something interesting to see, especially as our two teams play each other. Let's see where we, if we can basically shut you guys down. Right now, our bullpen is vulnerable, to be very honest with you. Our closer's okay. Brian Baker, he's been doing a lot of positive things there in the closing role, if you will. But with the Rays, essentially you can face the closer at any time. There's no guarantee. It's just wherever your best guys are up is where you'll see us. But other guys are flailing, guys who came off injury who haven't really returned to form yet. Garrett Clevenger, former Dodger, he has done wonders for us, but after he came back from injury for the Rays this year, he hasn't been doing the same. He's been a bit off. The balls have been a little bit flat. Kevin Kelly, if you're facing Kevin Kelly, he seems to be doing very well this season after being atrocious last year. A lot of the bad luck that we had in July when the Rays went 7-18 in July, basically killing their season, essentially. A lot of that had to do with blame to be put on Kevin Kelly and a couple others, so on and so forth. So that to me is going to be an interesting thing. So if the Dodgers are in that guild of making the back end pay, that could be very foreboding for the Rays, but it could be an open challenge as well. So I could see it going both ways. Yeah.
That's where the like what always tends to, if you got a pitcher that can spot and is on, because the Dodgers are so patient, if he's dotting the corners, they tend to freeze up a lot more. You get a lot of looking on the Dodgers because they cut off the plate and they only look for one part of the plate. And if you don't throw it there, they're not going to swing at it. And they'll take the K just to make you throw the extra 2-3 pitches to get you there because they want that back end of they want your pen.
Yeah. So then it might be a long day for the Dodgers potentially because both Nick Martinez and Drew Rasmussen are very good at spotting their stuff.
Yeah.
Very good. So it could be something where the Rays may be able to steal 1 or 2 games, which that's the ultimate goal. We can come out of this California series for the Rays perspective, playing 500 on the road. And that's really all you're looking for. So a sweep would be nice, but sweep would definitely do a lot for the gumption, if you will. But it has to be earned. They have the pieces to sweep, but they also have the pieces to get swept. Period. To be honest with you. So, who do you feel is going to be the X factor for your Dodgers for this series?
For this series, I think the two biggest factors is going to be the catchers, seeing how they take on, because without Smith back there and they're doing it more. And I think Otani's knee, seeing how that goes. I'm pretty confident with Lauer, and I'm pretty confident with Wrobleski, and the bats seem to be there where they need to be. So I'm really I think that the weekends are going to probably be our catchers and some of the some of the maybe nagging injuries that might be there for some of the guys.
Okay, no problem. So X factor is going to be the catchers, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Best of luck to you guys on that one. I'm going to put my X factor on this one. Looking through, I got to put the two-headed monster of Yandy Diaz and Junior Caminero, with facing 3 straight lefties continuously. And for those guys who do very well against left-handers, and there are para bats, if you will, I see them potentially having a very good series in theory. And both guys typically shine brightest when the lights are bright, if you will. So Yandy Diaz, if you take a look at a lot of his highlights, they come in playoff games. They come in must-win games. They come in when they're facing phenoms. They come in when they're facing aces, things like that. Junior Caminero, who is still 22, he tends to shine brightest, especially I believe he had 2 homer game in LA last time we were in a couple years back when he was 20, if memory serves me correct. He took one guy deep. I want to say it was Glasnow. He took him deep to center, and he did a pull shot, if memory serves me correct. Something to that accordance where I'm like, okay, all right, this kid may work out after all. So, so I gotta go with a two-head monster of Caminero and Yandy Diaz. But that's really all I got. Any pushback on any of the factors that I brought up before we start wrapping things up here?
The other thing I would ask is when Yandy and Caminero, when they're doing their damage, are they getting a lot of damage with the bases empty, or are you guys crowding the bases pretty decent for them?
So we typically get runners on for them because typically speaking with Yandy Diaz, he's been hitting in the 3rd and 4th spot. Caminero has been 2nd or 3rd, depending on situations. So he'll have a runner on, especially the second time in the order. He'll have multiple runners on for various different reasons. Yandy will have usually traffic in front of him. Typically speaking, what you can expect is Yandy maybe batting, depending on how the lineup is set up that day. It's been a little bit here and there, but Yandy may be leading off. He may be hitting 4th. But if he is hitting leadoff because of his on base skills, how he can work a lineup, and we touched on his 25 game on base streak. With that being said, he can definitely be a difference maker. So if he's getting the RBIs, that's because, and if he's batting first, that's because the bottom half of the order is waking up and making it really difficult on your starter. So the bottom half of the order typically is going to be your Taylor Walls, who can be a scrappy hitter at times, but he's been definitely underperforming, to say the least, but he can be scrappy. The catcher, Nick Portes, Cedric Mullins, maybe, or it could be Chandler Simpson, depending on. So those could be the guys that could be turning over the lineup and being on base when Yandy is up. If he's up with runners on scoring position, he's typically doing very well. Typically, same with Junior Caminero, they typically lock in. And another guy who we haven't mentioned. So with the Rays, they typically have a 3-headed monster that makes them very difficult. And that's the aforementioned Yandy Diaz and Junior Caminero, but it's also Jonathan Aranda. He, with his lefty bat, he typically has a lot of clutch hits when we need it. So, and he does have some pop in his bat as well. So Jonathan Aranda could make it interesting as well. So just to be on the lookout for. But yeah, any additional questions, my friend?
Trying to think. What are your thoughts about the upcoming trade deadline? What are you thinking? What are you wanting?
So with the trade deadline, we could use another arm. Starting, that would be nice if we could pick up somebody reliable. Typically speaking, what to expect from the Rays is they won't do the sexy, big time get. They'll get underliers like last year they got Adrian Hauser, who did okay, but he wasn't that sexy pick. He wasn't Alcantara. He wasn't somebody that you would really pin as being the answer. And that's the type of guy that the Rays typically will go get. So look for some underlying guy who's probably a number 3 or number 4 starter, who might be at a lesser value, but who has some underlying value there. Maybe he's not using his fastball enough. Somebody that can fill in the blank and really help out give the lineup length. Because right now, where the Rays are at for their starting rotation is you got the aforementioned Martinez, McClanahan, and Rasmussen, and then we have Griffin Jacks, who started off as a bullpen. He's being stretched out as a starter, and he's done very well, to be honest with you. He had over 8 ERA as a bullpen reliever this year. He has a 2.67 ERA as a starter, so clearly he's doing a lot better. He's giving the Rays 5 to 6 innings just about every time he goes out. So he might be a standard there. The Rays are really hurt by the hip injury with Ryan Pepio, who you guys are familiar with in Dr. Land.
Yeah.
He was definitely our number 3, number 2, depending on the day, doing very well for us. But he's out for the season, so we wish him the best. So picking up a starter is probably where we're at. Another bat would be great, specifically a right fielder would be awesome. But when we get Jenna DeLuca back, that answers a lot of questions. But if there's somebody out there that is going to be an upgrade and more consistency on any position, the Rays will be willing to listen. But they also have a really nice core coming up in the minor leagues, which I kind of don't want them to get rid of just yet, unless it's somebody amazing. Like, I never liked the trade for Nelson Cruz for Joe Ryan. We got half season from Nelson Cruz, and we lost on 6 years of Joe Ryan.
Yeah.
And Joe Ryan in the Rays lineup right now would be great in terms of being a starter. And Nelson Cruz, he did some positive things, but he wasn't the answer. So it was a risk it biscuit situation where we went in, we made the trade that typically we don't do, and it kind of bit us in the backside. So catching help would be nice, but Fortes is doing serviceable work, and he's coming alive as of late on the bat. Fiducia has surprised me. I didn't like him at all, and he's done a lot of positives. So I almost don't want to get rid of that functionality, but if there's an upgrade, if there's a better version of Fiducia out there, if there's a better version of Fortes is out there, like hypothetically speaking, if Will Smith was out there, absolutely, I'm doing that deal, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, I love you, Fortes. Thank you very much for everything, but bro, it's Will Smith. Come on, man. Yeah. So little things like that would come to pace. I'm willing to trade Aranda for somebody if it means we get an upgrade, because Aranda is great, but he's not a great fielder. And we've been bit a couple times by that. I would be willing to go that route if we had a couple years of protection, because we got this prospect coming up named Tatum Gray, who's granted in low-level minors, low A, but he's doing very well. Switch hitter, 18-year-old, so he could be the answer for the Rays. First time since ever that the Rays have had a first base prospect. You have to go all the way back to Steve Cox for the most relative pitching prospect that's came to the majors for the Rays. We traded away a couple other guys, Cronenworth, Jake Cronenworth specifically, and Kyle Manzardo. those are more recent ones that we traded away for other guys who were in the majors. So I know I'm all over the place. Bullpen arms also could be helpful, but the Rays are also getting back some pivotal guys. Edwin Ucita, who you guys are familiar with in Dodger country.
Oh yeah.
Edwin Ucita, he has been a stalwart for the Rays as well. He's going to be coming back from injury maybe in August. So that's right around after that trade deadline. And we have Manuel Rodriguez. Again, how can you go wrong with Rodriguez, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Manuel Rodriguez, he's going to be coming off injury. He is pushing 96 on his fastball. It looks like he's going to start doing some rehab assignments very soon. So he could be coming back probably in July or early August, depending on how he's stretched out and how he performs, of course. So those could be two interesting arms that could be de facto trades just by getting healthy. So the Rays could do nothing and still be competitive. They could do something and hurt themselves for 5 years because they got some pieces that could flourish and really do well. And if they trade them for a half a season of mediocre performance, I don't know if they can risk that. So
what do you get the impression of your new ownership? Are they thinking about cleaning house and kind of restarting, or you think they're just going to kind of keep going the way everything's going?
Short answer, keep going, because a couple things. They're asking a lot of public money and public fundings that's been squirreled away, that is available in a bucket, essentially, and they're trying to get access to that bucket. Short answer. There's much more to it, but the gist of it, giving the Reader's Digest. So because of that, it would be in their benefit to invest into the team. Because of that, it would be in their investment not to break down the team. So therefore, people are going to ask, why are we going to give this money to you when you guys aren't even doing anything with the team that you currently have? So it definitely is looking a lot better if they can be more competitive this year as well. Because votes are happening to justify that funds. The vote is happening in August to justify the funds.
Okay.
So that's right around the trade deadline. So there you go. So if the Rays are competitive, look for them potentially make a splash. But what is that splash going to cost? What is that splash? What does it look like? Like Yordan Alvarez is a name that's been floated out there. I don't know if I like him because he's not an upgrade in first base position-wise. He is an upgrade to a degree hitting-wise, but just marginally over Jonathan Aranda. So, and DH, we're good at DH with Yandy Diaz. So, that's nice. That's definitely a splash, but what's it costing us and what is the overall value? And does it mean that we're trading away Jonathan Aranda? Jonathan Aranda, I feel, has a lot more value there, so I don't want to trade him away just yet, but that's my 2 cents. So it's if the Rays management are looking for something, I would put them more about 80-20% chance of making a splash more than doing nothing per se, just because they have incentive base is what I feel, because they are looking for that public funding. So why not put on a good show? Hey guys, this is why you're going to give us some money, because look at what we're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, what you don't realize about the Rays is they have yet to host a All-Star game. They've been in the league for 30 years. Nope. They have yet to. They're the only team in the major leagues that have yet to host an All-Star game. And that may be an article that I'm going to write for baseballbanterbroadcast.com. Shameful plug. Just saying. Where the Major League Baseball really missed an opportunity this year of not having the Major League All-Star game at the Trop because we are recovering from the hurricane. Great PR move. And also highlight the fact that we are pushing for a stadium as well. Bring the public eyes onto the politicians that are playing games and playing a little bit of a contest, if you will, however you want to address that contest. I think that would be very interesting, but unfortunately we didn't miss that mark. And we opted for Philadelphia instead. So good and well, I get it. High five, no problem. But if the Rays can get that stadium, you're going to look at a lot more public attention, especially if the stadium's done well. All-Star game is probably going to be soon after because they're long overdue. They've been lapped twice by Seattle. Seattle hosted in 2001 and also recently. So, come on, guys. Also, World Baseball Classic. Look for them to host some of those series as well. Be in the Tampa area, not just in Miami. Nothing against Miami. That's awesome, sincerely, but definitely you can host in the Tampa Bay area as well. So, on top of that, also super regionals for college baseball. There's other things that you can do about that. You can host because it will be a good venue. You can probably host a lot of the winter meetings there. Good weather. Who doesn't love Tampa Bay in wintertime? You can also host drafts there, things to that accordance. So there's wonderful things that could potentially happen if the stadium's approved by the councilmen and women, of course, who are looking out for the best interests of Tampa. But if you truly are looking for the best interests of Tampa and the Tampa Bay area, then the stadium would be a good revenue builder, in my opinion. It's not just stadium, there's multiple facets to it. So because of that, that's why they're probably going to invest. Sorry, I know it's a long-winded answer, but
good.
Yeah, it's a long-winded answer. So definitely see what you guys got there. Just continue to renovate Dodger Stadium. Of course, that's doing wondrous things there. Overlooking the mountainside in the when you're in the upper deck and things like that. So definitely a good setup for your Dodgers. You don't have to worry about all this drama. I know you guys had to worry about it a bit with the football stadiums and when the Staples Center was being renegotiated from of course the original Palace, I believe. So yeah, I know you guys have gone through it in your own regard, but yeah. So, but for the Rays, it's been an ongoing thing. It's been a constant thing about the Rays Stadium for 16 years, probably more than that. So hopefully this is coming ahead, and we can just focus on being very competitive and being dominant. And maybe when we realign the leagues and no longer have to worry about the Yankees or the Red Sox, but worry about the Marlins, the Braves, and whoever the other expansion team is. Sure, bring it on. Let's have some fun. But yeah, that's all I got, my friend. So let's take a minute to talk about baseball renegades, where you and I both post memes on Facebook constantly. What's your hashtag? What can people expect from you? Any favorite memes? Any memes coming up?
So my hashtag is win for Vin. Because that's, we always going to be winning for Vin. But I like to do a lot of like conversation pieces. So, you're asking questions. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? One of my more recent ones was I posted with Scooble and Chapman, both more than likely getting traded at the deadline and probably being the two biggest arms available. Asking, do you want them, and what do you think your team should give up for them? Like, I think that I might run a convince our admin memes, and basically, so as we're getting closer to the trade deadline, give the admin control of whether they want to approve or deny a trade for a different team, and let the comment section throw some different trades at them for, Scooble, for Chapman, for some of these guys that are going to be on the block. And if we got an admin for the team, give it a little bit of fun with the comment section.
Yeah, that's absolutely sounds great. You can find me on the Baseball Renegades as well. I've been there since 2020. I think maybe before. It seems like I've been there for 20 years, but no, I've been there for about 6 years, give or take. But you can find me at hashtag raise the stakes, not the food stakes, but stakes as in raise the value, the stakes, if you will. That's been my hashtag for the last 6 years. I'm very proud of it, and very punk rock to a degree. But yeah, and you can see me from time to time maybe making fun of scenarios or being a little bit more lampooning or funny or tongue-in-cheek is what you can find from me. But be certain to check us out there at the Baseball Renegades. And a big mad shout out to one of the founders, Jeremy Petrich, along with Wayne Cleveland as well. the commissioner of the page, and all the other fellow admins out there. It's always a pleasure and a blast talking sports with you guys. Final thoughts, Jerry, before I let you go?
Well, before we get off of the Renegades, I just want to say that I'm pretty sure I took second and third place this week. So we do want to put that out on the on this so that it's live. Don't edit it out, editor. That's gold right there. But now I'm just really looking forward to this upcoming series. I like this run that the Dodgers have been on with the they just played Philly, they just played Atlanta, it's had a game with Chicago, and really getting to test the chops on the teams that more than likely they're going to be playing in October. If they get there.
Absolutely. Well, Jerry, thank you very much for joining us. Can anybody follow you? Are you on the internets? Are you on socials? If not, that's okay.
I'm Jerry Rodriguez on Facebook, on TikTok. You don't want to follow me there. It's not a baseball thing.
Okay.
But,
so no dance tips from Jerry on that one. Got it.
No. But other than that, yeah, just on Facebook, Jerry Rodriguez.
On Facebook.
Oh,
yep.
Really quickly, I do a little baseball art. And I wanted to show a piece that I just did.
Nice, man. Absolutely. And but that looks great, buddy. Thank you very much, Sharon. Jerry, thank you very much for joining us. Everyone out there, remember to hit that like and subscribe button one last time. If you like what this is going on in the content, please make certain to share it with your friends. If you don't like it, if you think that we're all full of it, share it with your friends. Totally make fun of us. Jump on, make fun of our memes. We're more than happy to have that. Feel free to do so. But as always, please tune in here at Baseball Banter Broadcast for more content. Find us on Baseball Renegades as well. And thank you very much for tuning in. Go Rays, and best of luck to the Dodgers. Not this week, of course.
Thank you.